For our next session would be the panel discussion on the diversity of cross-nation real estate investments. Please welcome Ms.Juvy Vargas, Member of the Board of Trustees, Ms.Carmen Chong, President of AREAA Global, and Dr. Sopon Ponchokchai, President of Fiabci-Thai as the moderator. Please give a warm welcome.
Okay, so now we will start our program. Actually, we have another speaker, Mr. Sunil Agarwal, the council member of and chairman of the International Chamber of Valuers, IOV, India. Do you see Mr. Agarwal around? Maybe still coming. Yeah, but we have around 20 Indian representatives here. So this is so if you come, you can kindly come here again. Okay. So this panel discussion will be something about the diversity of cross-nation real estate investment, on how to go and investment in other countries, and what are risks associated if we go to invest in other countries, and where are the preferred countries to go, maybe Cambodia, Thailand, or USA, or anywhere. So first, let me ask Madam Juvy Vargas, our board member of the FIABCI, the Philippines. She is the one who helped me create the FIABCI Pick the Strong Award. Because at the beginning, our FIABCI-Thai did not know how to do that. She is the one who teach us to do that. So, Ms. Juvy, what is your idea about this, please?
Really, Doc Supon? Did I help you?
Yes.
Thank you for that. Anyway, my gratitude goes to Fiabci Thailand, led by the legend, Dr. Supon Ponchokchai, and to his noble wife, Madam Pat. Thank you for welcoming me here. And to all representatives of Fiabci chapters, and of course for Fiabci-Philippines, may I acknowledge Dr. Eduardo G. Ong. Please stand to acknowledge. Yeah, that is Dr. E.G. Ong. Yeah. And of course, to the president of Fiabci-Philippines, Madam Melinda Lit, the principal member of Fiabci-Philippines. Please stand up to acknowledge. Maybe she's late. Okay. So, my colleagues in real estate industry, good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning. That's it. You are energetic right now. Very early. You must be energetic. Okay, back to the question. What is the question again, Dr. Supon?
So,
How to go to invest in other countries.
Yes.
Okay.
preferred countries.
Yeah. So
Any list
my idea, and I believe as a wise investor, you should seek guidance of a licensed real estate practitioner. No? By the way, I will just introduce myself. I am a licensed real estate broker, certified international property specialist, international realtor member, Fiabci International Real Estate Consultant, and a lifetime member of Fiabci-Philippines and Fiabci International. So being an investor, you must know how to find a licensed real estate practitioner before you will invest in any countries in the world. Being a CIPS designee, I can serve you anywhere across the globe. Juvy Vargas. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is the first round. So, round of applause for Madam Juvy Vargas. Madam Carmen Chong, she is very worldwide. She travel around the world to speak on real estate. But by the way, before that, I know that there are around 20 Indian delegates here, and some of you are our speakers. But I don't know where is our Mr. Agarwal is. Any of you like to substitute Mr. Agarwal? Any Indian like to substitute Mr. Agarwal? If he did not come, maybe you can come to speak in lieu of him. Anyone? You Mr. Lopez. Sorry, we have a session of you already. Yeah, maybe someone else. Anyone else from India? Anyone else from India like to speak? But you may think of it. But now let me invite Mr. Carmen Chong, the president of AREAA, American Real Estate Association of Asia. Right?
Of America.
America.
That's
Yes.
okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you
Yep.
so much, Dr. Sopon, for
Welcome.
inviting me here. I hope that I can share some great information, but before that, I wanted to say that I do represent AREAA Global, which is a Asian Real Estate Association of America. We do have in the US and Canada, we have 45 chapters and 19,000 members. They're all real estate brokers, realtors. They're also mortgage architects and investors at the same time. But to go back and answer your question, Dr. Sapon, what it is to cross, what are the preferred countries that it's great for us to invest in. And first and foremost, just like what Judy said, right? You first need to, for me, it will be more like doing research, market research, looking at a country. You have to travel, look at the country, what is the good in that country. On this research that you do, is it a good investment for me to buy whether it is a second home, whether it's an apartment, whether it is to buy a land and then build multi-unit properties, and then find out what are the rate of return that I can get. You can either do a partnership with another local business in that country, and that will basically speed up for you to be able to see whether it makes sense for you to invest in that country. So why do you want to invest in other countries than yourself, than in your own country? I'm from the USA, but I was born in Nicaragua, so I do speak fluent language, Spanish. And so I do bring some of my colleagues or members of AREAA to Mexico, to Latin America to invest as well. But before that, we definitely need to align yourself with a real estate expert in that country, with a certified specialist from that country. But more than anything, you cannot just get all your information from the website, from the social media. You have to feel it. You have to go to that country and feel that, is this a place that I want to retire? Many of us are the golden babies now, right? We want to retire in a place where there's warmth, there is a beach, there is healthcare, there is amazing food, which is like here in Thailand. Actually, a lot of the people from USA are coming to Thailand. I have my very good brother-in-law who came here and bought purchased a property here in Thailand, but that's because he wants to retire. You need to find out what is your purpose to invest in other countries, not just the rate of return, but does it make sense? You have to know about the tax implications as well. You have to know about the resources, the government changes, right? I mean, it's very important before you even invest. It took me almost like, and I'm gonna speak for myself, it took me almost like 10 years before I started investing outside of United States. I have decided that I like the country, I like their gastronomy, I like it is less expensive than living in the US. So much taxes that we had to pay. So the closest country that is for me was Mexico. So I have invested in the Caribbean side of Mexico and it's doing very well. Now I'm looking in the Southeast Asia. Many of my friends want to actually invest in Thailand, in Vietnam. Philippines, I haven't gone, so you have to invite me to come to Philippines, okay? So Philippines, so definitely you need to really know about doing your research, align yourself with good specialists in each country before you even decide to invest. Try it out first. Don't put all your money in one country as well.
just diversify your portfolio. If you do that, you're gonna be able to actually get higher returns than just investing in your own country. I hope that
Thank
helps.
you very much. Yeah. Big round of applause for Madam Chong. Yeah. So now we have Mr. Sunil Agarwal, the council member and chairman of International Chamber of the IOV India. IOV is Institution of Valuers. They invited me to speak almost every year in India. And this is the largest institution of valuers in India with maybe some 35,000 people. How come? I have only 2,000, sir, for the Thai Appraisal and Estate Agent Foundation. You have 35?
Yeah, the country is also that big.
Oh, maybe I can be your chamber, your chapter in Thailand. Okay, so let's give a round of applause to Mr. Agarwal to say about the investment of real estate abroad, where to invest, please.
Good morning, everyone. And thanks, Supon, for inviting IOV. We are very honored. And I think some of the members are here for the first time. So I think it's a whole new experience that you're opening up for the valuation fraternity. I mean, we do a lot of land and building valuations, but I think the real estate knowledge in valuers still needs to be honed up to the next level. So this is a great opportunity for interaction for all my members who are here. So India is a funny country in many ways when it comes to investing. A lot of people have come to India. I haven't seen a lot of foreign investors trying to buy a residential property in India for living, but there is very mild interest today in places like Goa. Goa is one destination which people will prefer, but then there are restrictions of foreigners owning property in India. What is happening in India is investors from India are investing in destinations which are offering them good returns and obviously retirement. So some of the destinations that Indians have been investing very, very aggressively is Dubai, largely for the fact that a lot of Indians work in the Middle East, and Dubai is a destination that people really want to go and maybe own a piece of property. Also, Dubai market has been doing phenomenally well. In the last 7-8 years, property pricing has gone up, and I think a lot of Indians have made a lot of money, serious money in Dubai, and that continues to be one of the most favorable destinations that people would want to invest in. Again, I think the new trend that's happening is that there are a lot of students who go abroad. So there are properties which people buy in the UK, in the US, where it is relatively easy to invest, or at least there is an ecosystem of investing in these countries, and people would want to sort of look at a future in these countries. Some of my friends have also preferred Portugal as a destination for retirement. So a lot of people went to Portugal or Austria, again, from a retirement perspective. And the other perspective is that in their own country, they don't feel as free. So they can roam the way they want, and they can wear what they want, and they're happy near a beach. And that's what is the kind of property even you were mentioning when people are coming to invest. Some investors have also invested in Thailand and Indonesia because there's a large fraternity of Indians here. But some of the considerations that people do is obviously the climate and the fact that whether they appreciate the culture there. The next is that while they will probably not sell that apartment, but there is that investment at the back. And I always say to people, if you're buying for investment, that's a different decision. And if you're buying this for end use, that's a different decision. But you should not try and combine the two. The moment you try and combine the two, your decision gets blurred. And I've seen people buying, because they want to make money. At the same time, they say, I want to live in it. And that's not a kind of decision that one should make. One should be clear whether I want to use this for myself, or I'm buying this property for investment, where I want a capital return. And there are people obviously who invest in properties for an annuity income. So a lot of people will go buy a property near a resort, near a tourist destination only for returns. They could be 4%, 5%, 7%, plus a capital appreciation. So people look for some kind of an annuity from the asset, and then over a period of time when the asset goes up, there is a blended return which people are looking at, maybe 10%, 5%, maybe annuity, and maybe over a period of time, appreciation of 3-4%. That's the kind of yields that are working right now in India. Also, I think a lot of investors are exploring today when the capital account convertibility is converted. So as an Indian, you are allowed to invest only 250,000 US dollars abroad. So if I wanted a property which is more expensive, either it's a combination of my wife and myself and a few people in my family who can put up that kind of capital through various accounts, or individually I can just invest up to $250,000. But then in India, there is a new tax haven they've created onshore. So most of the investors were investing through Mauritius, through Isle of Man, through these tax havens. But what has happened in India, there is a city called the Gift City. It's a gift city which is in Gujarat, where our Prime Minister comes from. And today you can open an entity in the gift city and you can either invest cross-border or you can receive cross-border investments. So that's something which doesn't require an approval.
I see.
So what government is trying to do is facilitate not individuals, but me and my wife would form a company, and then my ability to invest becomes almost infinite. You can invest 100% of your net worth in that company into an asset or whatever you want to buy outside.
Thank you very much.
So there is a lot of investor interest now. A lot of family offices are trying to move to this place, and they are trying to invest money abroad through this new regime, which was bought in January this year.
I see.
So I think there is an immense opportunity for now investors who are looking into India via Gift City, and obviously, outside through this. So as you said, I mean, it's very important to look at the regulation of a country. When it comes to India now, the regulations are loosening up. They opened up in 2005, where only institutional investors could invest. And the first wave was all residential private equity. And now you look at what's happening in India is all structured finance through into office assets, because investors are not willing to take the risk of development in India. The story wasn't that great, and India was not ready with the regulatory reforms so as to protect investors' capital. Now, over the last many years, maybe 20 years, when the investment was opened into real estate, there is a regulatory reform which has happened very, very regularly, and now there is that kind of environment that investors have done platform transactions. They have come into stabilized assets. And to give you an idea.
So maybe next round.
Okay, no worries.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So
Give a big
thanks everyone.
Big hand for our Mr. Agarwal. So for the time being, maybe you can kindly sit here, sir. Yeah, you are here.
Okay.
And you two maybe switch, please. Yeah, switch. People may not remember you. Yeah.
People will
Maybe
remember you.
Different. Okay. Yeah, still very beautiful. Very little depreciation. Very beautiful. Okay. We have another 15 minutes left. Madam Juvy, so if we want to invest abroad, so what should be some risk that we have to take into consideration for the risk in this case, or maybe in the Philippines, you have around 7,000 islands. Maybe you can sell an island or not, or something. Kindly tell us. Oh, but in Indonesia, they have 17,000 islands. Oh, so many indeed. Yes, please.
Yes, in Philippines, there are 7,100 more or less islands
Oh, high
high
tide,
tide.
high, no?
in high tide. Yeah, but in low tide,
8,000.
I don't know. But maybe you can research it. Okay, what is the risk? Maybe as an investor, you must consider the economic, climate, political, and geographical conditions of every country you must invest. That's all.
I see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
So in the case of investing in in the Philippines, do you think it is the right time to invest now, or maybe wait for another few years or something?
Well,
Or should we,
because I am here in front of you, it is very right time. Just approach me right after my speech.
but you are a
We can
developer?
talk.
Are you a developer?
Where will you invest in Philippines?
Okay, so-
Timely that there is a creation of BIMP-IAGA, the Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines creation. General Santos City is the center of the region. And I
General-
am inviting you to be there next year because it's formally open the investment hub in Soxargen, South Cotabato, Sultan Kudarat, Sarangani, and General Santos City.
I see.
Okay, let's talk it later. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. General Santos is a city in Mindanao, south of the Philippines, but it is the center for Indonesia, Brunei, the Philippines as well. So very interesting. We should visit there. So, Madam Carmen Chong, so the risk associated in when we invest in real estate abroad, maybe country risk or industry risk or something, how do we assess, and what is the rate of return, right? The capitalization rate or the yield that we should expect when we invest abroad. Kylie, maybe you can kindly tell us.
Well, since I'm from the US, most of us are looking for something that is at least at a minimum of 6%, but what we see abroad is about 10% and 12%. That's what they promote, okay? All these countries, they promote 10, 12%, maybe even 15%. What you may not understand is that there's a lot of other expenses that you may not have count on, which is capital gain. And there is capital gain. They say, no, you don't have to pay taxes. So as an investor, just like what you said, right? You have to find your purpose as to what you want to invest in and what's the purpose as to why you want to invest in. Is it for you to live in as a vacation home and then you're going to be able to go there for 2 weeks and then rent out the rest and get a minimal 6-8%, and then eventually being able to pay off that property if you didn't pay it in cash. Usually for foreign purchases is in cash unless it's commercial. But the other risk that we might not even think about is the currency fluctuation, right? Look at Japan right now, right? We have a partner from China that invested in Japan heavily right after the COVID. What happened? She lost a lot of, well, I wouldn't say she, but let's say the company lost a lot of money. So now they're looking into diversifying their businesses, and then we are partnering up because we have this great relationship between AREAA Global and also with Latin America countries. So we're trying to see how she can diversify her return. In this case, she's just trying to move the money outside of the country and then invest it in some other country that is more stabilized. But for your answer, what you're looking for, it really depends, right? You could be just buying a land, leave it there for a couple of years, and then get 10 times the return. Or you can just buy something and you could flip it right away within 3 months to 6 months. So really make that research, like I mentioned earlier, investigate, educate, and then attach yourself with different experts. And then at the end of the day, you're the one, ultimately, you have to know that as an investor, you may lose that. So if you don't feel like you're going to don't put all your eggs in that investment, right? You have to be really, really careful about that. But definitely, Dr. Sapon, I think that what we see is truly 6 to 8%, to be honest. If you do short-term rentals, you could get up to 20-25% return because you could rent it out for 3 days for 1 week at a much higher rate than it would be if you have a property management to do that for you. And that's the other thing that is important, finding the affiliates, the people that are gonna take care of your investment, because you buy, you pay, and then who's gonna take care of it? You have to have somebody to manage that for you because you're not in that country. You have to trust that person, the partner that you find to safeguard your investment as it would if you were not there. So very, very important. And again, it's not enough information out there for you to do. But right now, one of the countries, if I'm ahead of time, I would say AREAA Global is looking into having a trip to Japan. Yoshi's here, so he will tell you, right? The currency has dropped so much that there is a great interest from the USA, from Canada, and from other countries who wants to go to Japan to invest. But just because it's cheap, that's the other thing. Just because it's very inexpensive right now doesn't mean it's a great investment. So don't fall for that, right? You have to, you get what you buy for.
Yeah, I think Japan is a very great place to invest. Very reasonable price, and also very safe, very peaceful, very quiet. I mean, not too hectic like in Thailand, but that also
But I love
very good to
Thailand.
stay there. Yeah, really good to stay there. So go and buy properties in the Gulf of Tokyo. Very beautiful. Buy one.
Yeah, come with us, Dr. Sapan,
Yeah.
in April.
Yeah. Okay. So, Mr. Agarwal, will you say something about Dubai? Over there is really hot. Why Indian go there to buy properties? Very warm indeed, and sometimes also flooding. But I heard that so many people from India buying a lot of properties there, maybe 30 or 40,000. Do you have a figures how many units that they bought in India, and what is the reason behind? Maybe you
So are
can
you saying
spend some 5 minutes there on that.
India buying,
Buying
Indians buying
properties in Dubai.
In Dubai?
Yes.
Okay. So I think Indians by their very nature are investors, and they are driven only by the returns at times, which can be very, very frightening, because some of the people actually, when Dubai market was it at its peak, started investing, and then for many, many years, Dubai was not a great investment. Um, and I think most of Indians, when they buy, they try and look for opportunities in tax havens. So Dubai exactly is not a tax haven, but on the face of it, when you buy a property in Dubai and you make a return, Dubai is a zero tax country. So a lot of people would want to move capital abroad, and they would want to look at a tax regime in a certain country. Also, Dubai, a lot of Indians went and did a lot of construction. So there are a lot of contractors turned developers also in Dubai. And some of the developers in India also have put up buildings. So Shobha is one which is put up one of the largest developments called the Heartland. Then there is, Hiranandani, who's a developer who's put up a couple of buildings. So I think Indians would want to invest into a developer whom they trust in India. And if that person is moving into another country, that's one reason why people would trust, and that's how the trust moves. So as you said, I mean, the trust is very important. And it's easy to do today when you have internet, you have a lot of research thrown at you, a lot of information is available on the country risk, on the currency risk, you can take a hedge and all of that. Uh, the the real devil is, what is the horse you're betting on? So India or any country is a great opportunity, but when you try and hunt that opportunity, the the detail comes in, and then you're lost in the detail, and then it's very difficult to find a opportunity which will connect you to the macro picture. And when in 2006 people are investing in India, they had no idea. Nobody was everybody discounted. Even the big names who invested in India, the Blackstones of the world. Blackstone did not invest for a long time, but all the other funds who came in actually never took a currency hedge, because Indian currency was supposed to be very strong, and they were investing at 44 rupees to a dollar in 2006. And everybody, and I used to wonder, because I was new to this finance world, and I said, why is it that you guys are not taking this currency risk? It's available at a very small hedge. And my fund manager in the UK used to say, oh, you don't know anything about it. India is a great country. We don't need to take any currency risk. Why are you wasting, let's say, 1% return? Why compromise on that? And comes, 10 years later, dollar was trading at 83 rupees. Even if you double the money, you would still make no money for the investor. So I think these things are very important. And yeah, so I think just keep that in mind, be prudent, and know the horse that you're betting on. Uh, Even the regulation and the other hurdles are there, and you have a great developer, you have a great partner, a great person who is your advisor, you will still make returns. But if you have the wrong horse, then no matter how great your structuring is, no matter how great your, thesis is, it's never going to work. Yeah.
If I may add, I think that if you do decide to invest in other countries, you have to think of this as a long-term investment, right? It's very important that you have the time, because if you are like, oh, in 3 months, I'm gonna make this, then investing or buying real estate property in other countries might not work at all. If it is the commercial, even that even takes a year to 2 years to, for something to be put together. So you have to think it's a long-term investment. If you want something quick, then do it at, back in your country. There has to be some sort of a way to figure out, because you're closer to that real estate property or project or whatnot. But long-term investment is very, very important. And the market. We went, AREAA Global went to Dubai in 2019. We were a little bit too early for that. And then look at what happened now. So we kind of like, I don't know if it's missed the boat, but we were like too early. And then we missed the boat, so to speak. But yeah, Dubai is a great place to live in.
No, I don't think so. Dubai is a great place, or XYZ is a great place. I think we've learned in the investment business that any country is great for investment so long you understand what you're doing. And there will be, in real estate, so many asset classes, so many micro markets within a big market, that if you study the market carefully, even when the markets were down, there will still be emerging markets in a country like India. They'll be developing cities, they'll be developing suburbs of those cities. So you could still find a investment opportunity even when the general perception is the market is down. And I'll take you through the very quickly in a minute, that the smart boys gang, as I call them, were investing into mortgage rather than real property, and mortgage companies went through the roof. That's the kind of alternatives, derivatives, which are making a lot of money. So if you want to invest in property and make money, that's one way directly. But there are a lot of surrogates. You could be investing in construction companies. You could be doing something else. So I think when you study a market, then make sure that you study the micro market also as equally well as the broad picture. Everybody knows the broad picture, that Japan is down, properties are available for cheap, XYZ is a great location, but where, which developer, which building, what's the deal that you have? And I think that's very, very important, because the moment you miss those details, you could be, it's not like a dart that you shoot the dart and then wherever it lands, you invest and you'll make money. That's not what's going to happen. If the property you're investing has a litigation issue, it has a lease issue, it has other issues which will probably not make you as good a return as you would want to be, you'll not be very happy. So I think devil is in the detail. The macro picture should be right, but people have made money even when markets were going very high in certain areas and people said markets are going to crash. Still people made money. So very important, long term, associate yourself with the market, understand this. Blackstone did not invest in India for the first 6 years, and they said this is a frothy market. We believe in the Indian story. We don't believe in this market. After 6 years, they started investing. Today, they have the largest office portfolio, and I think they bought their portfolio fairly cheap, because when everybody chips were down, you were investing. Dubai is a market where interest rates went up from 4 to 8. Everybody was on 90% mortgage. Today, there are developers who are crying who can buy 30, 40, 50 cents to a dollar. So,
I see. Thank you very much. Last, Madam Vargas, maybe you can say something about the Philippines.
I consider your last question. What are your preferred countries? Maybe, or I choose Philippines. Okay. So in every investment, there is a timing and a right person you talk, a reliable person. So being an investor, you must know the timing of if it is a seller's market or a buyer's market. You
Thank you.
should benefit on that.
Okay.
Thank
So,
you.
Thank you very much. So let's give a round of applause, big round of applause to our three speakers. So now we will deliver the token of appreciation to our speakers. So, Ms. Patama, our one of our board member of FIABCI, maybe you can kindly deliver for this first round. Here, please. ถ่ายภาพข้างหลังหน่อยครับข้างหลังที่เป็นรูปเขาว่า ภาพเนี่ยข้างหลัง okay so first Miss Vargas please take a photo Madam Carmen Chong yeah Mr. Agarwal please yes please. Okay, so we have a group photo together.